You ever stare at a job posting for like 10 minutes and then just close the tab? Because the title says data scientist, but the description wants dashboards, SQL, Python, machine learning, and maybe a bit of project management as well. And you're just sitting there thinking, wait, is this even the job I want? Or even worse, am I even close to being qualified for any of these? If you've been learning data skills, whether it's analytics, engineering, science, dashboards, and you've ever felt like the job title world is just a complete mess, you're not wrong. Because honestly, it's just so confusing. Different companies use different words, different regions mean different things. Startups sometimes ask for one person to do everything, and big companies split things into tiny roles. And the titles just aren't helpful at all. But what does help is knowing what's underneath the title. Because behind all the complicated job titles, the work actually falls into 4 big buckets, or lanes as I like to call them. Once you understand these 4 lanes, job posts start to make a lot more sense. You'll stop guessing what a data product owner even is, because I was one, and you'll start thinking, this is mostly analysis, or okay, this is an infrastructure with just a fancy name. So today, I'm walking you through the entire breakdown, what the roles really are, what they actually do, what tools do they use, how they differ from one place to another around the world, and most importantly, how can you figure out where you fit right in and what to do next? Let's jump right in. Even though the internet makes it feel like there's 1,000 different job titles in data, almost all of them fall into just 4 lanes. Once you learn these lanes, it's like putting on glasses. Suddenly the blurry mess of job listings just sharpens into something you can actually work with. So what are they? Lane number 1 is answering questions with data. The second, building tools so others can use the data. The third is to predict things using data. The fourth, moving and managing the data behind the scenes. Everything from the flashiest AI specialist to the most chill reporting analyst fits somewhere in here. So let's walk through them one by one. Lane 1, the analyst roles. This is where most people start their data careers. If you ever looked at a spreadsheet and thought, wait, what's really going on here? You might belong in this lane. Your job here is to take messy, raw data and turn it into something useful. You get questions like, why did retention drop last quarter? Which campaigns brought in the most revenue? What happened to our sales in region X? And your job is to dig in, pull the numbers, clean them, and explore. And then you explain it. You might make a dashboard, you might just write up a short report, but you're the one helping the team make smarter decisions based on data. Now, what titles do you see in this lane? It's actually a bunch. Data analyst, business analyst, insight analyst, customer analyst, marketing analyst, strategic analytics, even MI analyst in the UK. That stands for management information. But all of them, just look at the data, find the answer, and explain it well. Some of the tools you're going to be using would be SQL, Excel, Tableau or Power BI, or even Looker. I'm Team Tableau. Maybe some Python or R depending on the company. So how do you get started in this lane? Pick a data set, ask a real question and answer it. Build a dashboard or make a chart, then explain your findings in just plain English. What did you find? What did it mean? And what would you try next? Share that online on GitHub, Medium or LinkedIn. Show that you can ask and answer real questions. That's your way in. Because companies always need people who can do this. Lane 2 is the BI and analytics engineering, because now's when we shift gears. In lane 1, you answer questions. In lane 2, you build systems that let other people answer questions. You're not just making dashboards, you're creating tools and infrastructure. Your job is to define clear metrics, build reliable dashboards, create reusable models, and clean data layers that the whole company can just trust. You might hear titles like BI analyst, BI engineer, analytics engineer, dashboard developer, data visualization specialist. This is where things get a little bit more technical, but also more organized. What you'll do day to day would be, something like build dashboards that updates automatically, set up metric definitions that everyone can agree on, structure the data so analysts don't all build their own scrappy version of monthly active users. You're part data person, part system builder, part translator between the business and tech. Some of the tools you will be using would be SQL, a lot, dbt for data modeling, Tableau, Power BI, Looker, but at a much deeper level than you would do in lane 1. Git for version control, and maybe some Python or command line. Here's how to break in this lane. Build a mini BI system. Take a messy data set, transform it, define some metrics, build a dashboard that lets people slice and dice things, and then write about how you structured it. Show your thinking, not just about this analysis, but about how to make it reusable. If you love clean systems, good design, and preventing chaos, this is your lane. Lane 3 is the data science and machine learning lane. This is the lane that gets the most buzz or hype, and sometimes the most confusion. People hear data scientists and picture someone just building AGI or on a whiteboard. But at most companies, you're solving practical prediction problems, like which customers are likely to churn, what products should we recommend next, what's the most likely time for a delivery to be delayed. So what do you actually do? You clean and prepare data, you engineer features, you build models, you evaluate how well they perform. And the key part is explain what the model means to the business. The most common job titles here would be data scientist, machine learning engineer, applied scientist, predictive modeler, quantitative analyst, and so much more. And as a data scientist, some of the tools you're going to be using is Python with extensive libraries, with essentials being pandas, scikit-learn, and maybe some TensorFlow and PyTorch. Jupyter notebooks extensively, SQL, and a very strong handle on statistics. And in order for you to build towards this lane, pick a real business style question. Find or gather a data set, build a model, and evaluate it. Then explain your findings like you're talking to your future boss, not a data conference. This lane takes more time to enter, and you'll often need stronger projects to just begin with. But if you love math, models, experimentation, it might be the right path for you. Lane 4 is data engineering. This is the lane that's the least flashy, but probably the most essential out of them all. Because if dashboards are the front end, if models are the brain, data engineers are the ones who build the road. You pull data from different places, you clean it, you load it into warehouses, build pipelines, and make sure it's all running on schedule. You don't just write SQL queries, you build systems. And some of the titles you're going to see for in this lane would be data engineer, data platform engineer, ETL developer, pipeline engineer, and sometimes even analytics engineer overlaps here. And some of the tools you're going to be using in this lane would be SQL and Python, the bread and butter for a data nerd. And some of the cloud platforms you're going to be introduced to would be the AWSs, the GCP, the Azures, and so on. Airflow for scheduling, dbt for modeling, Docker, Git, maybe Kubernetes. So what does that mean? How do you start building proof? Create a small pipeline. Maybe it pulls data from an API, transforms it, loads it into a local database or warehouse, and then shows it's ready for analysis. Document your thinking. What did you automate? How would you scale it? How would someone else use it? If you love backend systems, scripting, making things reliable, this lane is definitely your jam. Think about what made you nod your head. Think about which one felt natural. Because here's the thing, you don't have to stay in one lane forever, but you do need to pick one to start with. The sooner you do, the easier it gets. And now that you've picked up a lane in your mind, let's keep going. Let's dive deeper into how this all plays out in the real world. The job titles, the locations, the companies, and how you make yourself stand out. So first, how the job title game shifts depends on where you are and what kind of company you're targeting. In the US, especially in big tech or established firms, job roles tend to be much more clearly separated. You'll see separate titles for analyst, data engineer, data scientist, which, from the looks of it, you'll know roughly what each means. But in the UK and Europe, you might see job titles like insight analyst, MI analyst, commercial analyst, business-facing labels that cover much of what we saw in lane 1. In India or across Southeast Asia, titles can be a bit more broader or mixed. A data scientist job might ask for what in other countries you'd call a business analyst. Smaller teams, fewer resources, people wearing way too many hats. And in startups of any region, there's definitely going to be a lot less structure. One title may cover 2 or even 3 lanes. Definitely a great opportunity for learning, but tricky for clarity. That means when you see a job posting, don't just read the title, read the details. What tools do they list? What tasks do they describe? What level is it? Entry, senior, lead? That tells you which lane you're looking at, and it tells you whether you're a good fit. Now, let's talk through that more specifically. Say you see analytics engineer in a growth team, for example. You open the description and it says SQL, DBT, dashboard creation, metric definitions, working alongside marketing, enabling of reporting. Right away, you're in lane 2, building dashboards and enabling others. If instead you open a job posting titled Junior Data Scientist and see Python, building classification model, Jupyter, deploying ML endpoint, you're in lane 3, predicting with data. Here's a simple checklist you can use to scan the job description. If it says SQL and dashboard and business explanation, it's very likely to be lane 1 or 2. If it says Python, modeling, accuracy, precision terms, probably lane 3. ETL, pipelines or warehouses, cloud, that's probably gonna slot you in and likely in lane 4. Words like define KPIs, enable self-serve, dashboard, platform lean more towards lane 2. Words like clean, transform, ingest data sets are often inclined towards lane 4. Once you identify the lane, ask yourself, do I want to do this kind of work? Because the fit actually matters. The work you like doing is what will get you further than just chasing a title. Now, how do you present yourself for that lane? How do you craft your story, your portfolio, and your applications so you're not just another resume, but someone who actually shows up ready? Let's break that down. Start with your story. Why do you care about this data? Maybe you found a weird pattern in something you tracked. Maybe you just loved dashboards in college. Maybe you built something as a side project and it just clicked. Whatever the reason is, bring that in. Then, what lane did you pick? Say it out loud. I love turning data into insights. I love building tools that help people work smarter. I love building models that make predictions. I love building systems that make data much more reliable. That tells the viewer you're intentional. Up next is your portfolio or your projects. It doesn't have to be huge, but it does have to show that you can do the work within your lane. If you're in lane 1, pick a data set, ask a question, answer it, build a simple dashboard, and write up what you found. If it's lane 2, pick something similar, but build the transformation, define a metric, make the dashboard reusable. If you chose lane 3, modeling project, problem which has data features, connected to model results, what it means. Finally, if lane 4, pipeline project, raw unclean data to be cleaned, loaded and used. Document how you did it, what you automated, how you designed it. And in your application, lead with your lane. In your cover letter or when you reach out to them, start with saying, I'm an analytics engineer focused on building self-service dashboards and metric definitions. In your bullet point in your resume, say that something like, build Power BI dashboards for X dataset, enabling weekly self-serve, filtering by region, which reduce manual report time by X hours. Use the language from the job posting if they talk about self-serve analytics and mention that. If they talk about data reliability or pipelines, mention that too. And during your job interview, speak like you actually know the lane. Don't just say, I worked with SQL. Say, I worked with SQL and Tableau to build dashboards that stakeholders in marketing could use themselves without relying on me each week. Use stories, ask questions, show curiosity. If you're going to lane 3 or 4, expect deeper technical questions like modeling, pipeline, architecture, but still expect yourself to be able to explain it in plain English. Now, for one final piece, choose your path. Yes, but also plan your step forward. Because your first job is not the finish line, it's just the beginning. It's the starting line. Here's the roadmap for the next few weeks for yourself. Pick your lane, commit to it, at least for now. Identify one project and block out some time. That could be for dataset selection, building, documentation, and sharing. Update your LinkedIn, GitHub, your portfolio with your intent, your lane, and your project. Find 3 job postings this week, map them to your lanes, and pick 2 that you'll apply for. Apply and track them. Reflect after your interviews. Learn and adjust. Keep learning the tools of your lane. Don't neglect communication, because the ability to explain your work is what sets you apart. And it's kind of a superpower for data nerds like you and I. You're getting closer. It becomes a lot clearer when you stop chasing vague job titles and start building clarity. When you stop asking, what job is this? And start asking, what work is this? You'll walk into your next application knowing who you are and what you bring to the table. If this video has helped you make more sense of things, go ahead and comment below. I picked my lane, let's go. And let me know which lane you chose. I'll definitely reply and give you my feedback. You got this. Pick your lane, do the work, show the proof, and click apply. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one.